Hello everyone, this is Matthew Optimus, and welcome back to my channel. And today is Thanksgiving, and I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. I wish everyone have a great time with your families and friends, and enjoy your Thanksgiving meals. I hope you enjoy watching the Thanksgiving Day parades out in Chicago and New York City. I hope you enjoy your family traditions with Thanksgiving. And speaking of Thanksgiving, I'm going to be delving into the history of Thanksgiving on history.com right here. Yeah, history.com on my tablet. And before I do that, be sure to subscribe to my channel and don't forget to uh, select the notification bell so you'll be able to get more videos in the future. You'll be able to know you'll get updated on your videos in the future. If you guys don't want to watch this video because you don't know about Thanksgiving, don't watch it. I'm sure you'll figure it out on your own. If you want to hear what I have to say from Thanksgiving, go right ahead. That's fine. I'm gonna bring out the history in three, two, one. Hold on. I'm, uh, see if I can. Uh, I'm, I'm having trouble with this thing here. Yeah. Thanksgiving Day is a national holiday in the United States, and Thanksgiving 2018 occurs on Thursday, November 22nd, which is this day. In 1621, the Plymouth colonists and Wampanoag Indians shared an autumn harvest feast that is acknowledged today as one of the first Thanksgiving celebrations in the colonies. For more than two centuries, days of Thanksgiving were celebrated by individual colonies and states. It wasn't until 1863, in the midst of the Civil War, that President Abraham Lincoln proclaimed a national Thanksgiving Day to be held each November. That's pretty cool. Thanksgiving giving at Plymouth. In September 1620, a small ship called the Mayflower left Plymouth, England, carried 102 passengers and assortment of religious separatists seeking a new home where they could freely practice their faith, and other individuals lured by the promise of prosperity and land ownership in the New World. After a treacherous and uncomfortable crossing that lasted 66 days, they dropped anchor near the tip of Cape Cod for north of their intended destination at the mouth of the Hudson River. 1 month later, the Mayflower crossed Massachusetts Bay, where the Pilgrims, as they are now commonly known, began the work of establishing a village at Plymouth. I'm sorry about that. I have pragmatic speech issues. I'm sorry that I'm misspelling these words. It says, did you know lobster, seal, and swans were on the Pilgrims' menu? Not bad. Throughout the first brutal winter, most of the colonists remained on board the ship, where they suffered from exposure, scurvy, and outbreaks of contagious disease. Only half of the Mayflower's original passengers and crew lived to see their first New England spring. In March, the remaining settlers moved ashore, where they received an astonishing visit from Abenaki Indian, who greeted them in English. Several days later, he returned with another Native American, Squanto, a member of the Powhatan tribe, who had been kidnapped by an English sea captain and sold into slavery before escaping to London and returning to his homeland on an exploratory expedition. Squanto taught the Pilgrims, weakened by malnutrition and illness, how to cultivate corn, extract sap from maple trees, catch fish in the rivers, and avoid poisonous plants. He also helped the settlers forge an alliance with the Wampanoag, a local tribe which would endure for more than 50 years and tragically remains one of the sole examples of harmony between European colonists and Native Americans. In November 1621, after the Pilgrims' first corn harvest proved successful, Governor William Bradford organized a celebratory feast and invited a group of the fledgling colony's Native American allies, including the Wampanoag chief Massasoit, now remembered as Americans' first Thanksgiving. Although the pilgrims themselves may not have used the term at the time, the festival lasted for 3 days. While no record exists of the historic banquet's exact menu, the Pilgrim chronicler Edward Winslow wrote in his journal that Governor Bradford sent 4 men on a following mission in preparation for the event, and that the Wampanoag guests arrived bearing 5 deer. Historians have suggested that many of the dishes were likely prepared using traditional Native American spices and cooking methods. That's pretty cool, actually. Because of the Pilgrims had no oven and the Mayflower sugar supply had dwindled by the fall of 1621, the meal did not feature pies, cakes, or other desserts, which have become a hallmark of contemporary celebrations. My speech is really bad right now. I'm really sorry. Check out the Thanksgiving trivia. Hold on. Thanksgiving becoming an official holiday. Pilgrims had held their second Thanksgiving celebration in 1923 to mark the end of a long drought that had threatened the years of harvest and prompted Governor Bradford to call for a religious fast. Days of fasting and Thanksgiving on an annual or occasional basis become common practice in other New England settlements as well. During the American Revolution, the Continental Congress designated one or more days of Thanksgiving a year, and in 1789, George Washington issued the first Thanksgiving proclamation by the national government by the United States. In it, he called upon Americans to express their gratitude for the happy conclusion to the country's War of Independence and the successful ratification of the U.S. Constitution. His successors, John Adams and James Madison, also designated days of thanks during their presidencies. In 1817, New York became the first of the several states to officially adopt an annual Thanksgiving holiday. Each celebrated it on a different day. However, and the American South remained largely unfamiliar with the tradition. In 1827, the noted magazine editor and prolific writer Sarah Josepha Hale, author, among countless other things, of the nursery rhyme Mary Had a Little Lamb, launched a campaign to establish Thanksgiving as a national holiday. For 36 years, she published numerous editorials and sent scores of letters to governors, senators, presidents, and other politicians. Abraham Lincoln finally heeded her request in 1863 at the height of the Civil War. In a proclamation entreating all Americans to ask God to commend to his tender care for all those who have become widows, orphans, mourners, or sufferers in the lamentable civil strife, and to heal the wounds of the nation. He scheduled Thanksgiving for the final Thursday in November, and it was celebrated on that day every year until 1939, when Franklin D. Roosevelt moved the holiday up a week in an attempt to spur retail sales during the Great Depression. Roosevelt's plan, known derisively as Thanksgiving, was met with passionate opposition, and in 1941, the president reluctantly signed a bill making Thanksgiving the fourth Thursday in November. Thanksgiving traditions. This is going to be interesting. In many American households, the Thanksgiving celebration has lost much of its original religious significance. Instead, it now centers on cooking and sharing a bountiful meal with family and friends. Nothing wrong with that. Turkey, a Thanksgiving staple so I'm sorry, I don't know this word, has become all but synonymous with the holiday, may or may not have been on offer when the Pilgrims hosted the inaugural feast in 1621. Today, however, nearly 90% of Americans eat the bird, whether roasted, baked, or deep-fried. On Thanksgiving, according to the National Turkey Federation, are traditional foods including stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, and pumpkin pie. Volunteering is a common Thanksgiving Day activity, and communities often hold food drives and host free dinners for the less fortunate. And that's a good thing. I think they deserve food. Parades have also become an integral part of the holiday in cities, towns across the United States, presented by Macy's department store since 1924. New York City's Thanksgiving Day Parade is the largest and most famous, attracting some 2 to 3 million spectators along its 2.5-mile route and drawing an enormous television audience. It typically features marching bands, performers, elaborate floats conveying various celebrities, and giant balloons shaped like cartoon characters. I've seen some of that on TV. It's pretty good. Beginning in the mid-20th century and perhaps even earlier, the President of the United States has pardoned 1 or 2 Thanksgiving turkeys each year, sparing the bird from slaughter and sending them to a farm for retirement. A number of U.S. governors also perform the annual turkey pardoning ritual. That's interesting. Thanksgiving controversies. That's interesting. For some scholars, the jury is still out on whether the feast at Plymouth really constituted the first Thanksgiving in the United States. Indeed, historians have recorded other ceremonies of thanks among European settlers in North America that predate the Pilgrims' celebration. In 1565, for instance, the Spanish explorer Pedro Menendez de Avila, instead members of the local Timucua tribe to a dinner in St. Augustine, Florida, after holding a mass to thank God for his crew's safe arrival. On December 4th, 1619, when 38 British settlers reached a site known as Berkeley Hundred on the banks of Virginia's James River, they read a proclamation designated the date as a day of Thanksgiving to Almighty God. Some Native Americans and others take issue with how the Thanksgiving story is presented to the American public, and especially to school children. Hold on, Mom. I'm doing my YouTube video here. Sorry for the distraction. In their view, the traditional narrative paints a deceptively sunny portrait of relations between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag people, masking the long and bloody history and conflict between Native Americans and European settlers that resulted in the deaths of millions. That's kind of sad, actually. Since 1970, protesters have gathered on the day designated as Thanksgiving at the top of Coles Hill, which overlooks Plymouth Rock, to commemorate a national day of mourning. Similar events are held in other parts of the country. Thanksgiving ancient origins. Although the American concept of Thanksgiving developed in the colonies of New England, its roots can be traced back to the other side of the Atlantic. Both the separatists who came over on the Mayflower and the Puritans who arrived soon after brought with them a traditional of providential holidays, days of fasting during difficult or pivotal moments, and days of feasting and celebration to thank God in times of plenty. As an annual celebration of the harvest and its bounty, moreover, Thanksgiving falls under a category of festivals that spans cultures, continents, and millennia in ancient times. The Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans feasted and paid tribute to their gods after their fall harvest. Thanksgiving also bears a resemblance to the ancient Jews' harvest festival of Sukkot. Finally, historians have noted that Native Americans had a rich tradition of commemorating the fall harvest with feasting and merrymaking long before Europeans set foot on their stories. And that's pretty much it on the history of his Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoyed my reading of this. And if you like the history of Thanksgiving, post your comments down below. If you have your issues with Thanksgiving and if you have your thoughts and opinions about Thanksgiving, post your comments down below on my channel. Or post your opinions about it on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Messenger, whatever. Speaking of Thanksgiving traditions, I watched The Lord of the Rings or the first Hobbit movie on DVD at home. That's usually my Thanksgiving tradition in these cases. So I have my the extended edition for Return of the King movie. I'm probably going to watch that later. And today I'm going to be helping out making some of the Christmas, Thanksgiving food with my mom and my stepdad. I'm probably going to help out with the turkey, kind of. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like, please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving, and I hope you have a great day and night. I hope you have a great family. You can say, I hope you guys can do your Grace thing if you want. We're not really a Grace family. That's just not us. And that's fine. I'm sure if you don't like it, that's fine. Oh, and if you want to experience your stories of Thanksgiving, post your stories about it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr. I don't care. We usually. Oh, by the way, my stepdad and I usually try to see if we can take about Partha Wishbone, and he often wins. He's stronger than I am, so. Okay, that's pretty much it. Have a happy Thanksgiving, guys. I'm Matt the Optimist. Peace. The Frel out.